Disclaimer. To the Pharisees and Karens out there.
How dare you?
All guests on this show do not reflect the opinions of the host. The purpose of this show is to have interesting conversations, stretch our minds, and grow.
Not what we want.
If you are looking for an echo chamber, viewer and listener discretion
is advised.
You talk about extreme.
What is happening and what is up? Hold out your glass, because we're about to fill it up.
Torches high.
Look at it from a different perspective.
Hey guys, what is happening?
What is up?
Hold out that glass, baby.
We're going to pour it up.
We'll fill it up. What's happening, guys? Hey, welcome to the Prometheus Lens podcast, the place where the conversations are always enlightening. I'm your host, Doc Brown, and we got
Steven, host of the Biblical Hitmen.
in the house, in studio, and put on your seatbelt, son. If you haven't noticed already, this might get a little wild.
I know, man. I don't know. I just all of a sudden just kind of been fluctuating with this new accent that I got, get up all up in here in the Tennessee world over here, jump up off the plane, grew a mullet, got a weird voice now, and yeah, man.
Do it for Dale, baby.
Do it for Dale.
Do it for Dale. I was breaking up some of my hats and stuff, and I told him, I said, dude, you got to put on the mullet. And he put it on. I'm like, dude, that looks awesome. I was like, hey, I got to do something silly too. I was like, give me my toilet paper hat.
Yeah, dude. I mean, this reminds me of Joe Dirt, like you can't believe.
Oh, it is. It's totally Joe Dirt. 100%. And even you said something funny. I hadn't realized. You was like, your toilet paper hat looks like a Shriner's hat.
Yeah, dude. People could get the wrong impression with that hat, but it's hilarious anyway.
100%. And I'm even cutting out a frame. I'm so tall. So I was using for a little bit. So
yeah, that was fun.
You got to wear it.
That was fun. Hey, you know what? I can't do long hair. It gets hot, right? So shout out to all the women out there, because my goodness, this hair was getting in my eyes. It was getting everywhere. It's frustrating, but I loved it.
Pre-roll, he's over here just shaking it like a lion's mane.
Yeah.
Maybe he's born with it.
Now I got my South Florida haircut. I'm right back in business, folks.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah.
Well, we got to hang out. Honestly, it was just back in June, but I went down to Florida, your neck of the woods, and we got to hang out at a conference at Bohemian Grove. Got to hang out with Jesse and Taylor. We got an Airbnb, man. Had a really, really good time. And this time we had a conference in my neck of the woods, so he flew up. And once again, we got us an Airbnb with Riley from the Midwest Mythos and went to Spiracy Con. And now we are back and we're hanging out at the house a little bit. And he flies out tonight. I was like, dude, you're in studio. We got to do something.
I know. It's actually fun having a conversation without having earplugs in and all this stuff. But yeah, it was a great time. Spiracy Con 2025. It was one of the first conferences I actually went to and got to, promote the show. And for anyone listening out there, you can find us on YouTube, all the audio platforms, pretty much anywhere under the Biblical Hitmen. And, we'll get Jesse and Taylor in the studio, all of us together one day.
Yes.
It'll be fun.
Yeah, 100%. But, you flew in late Thursday evening. And I told you, I said, well, we're up in the air. We can either just go to my house, grab my stuff, and head on to Kentucky. It was about a 4.5 hour drive. I said, find us a little cheap place to stay and hit Spiracy Con early in the morning because we had to set up our tables and stuff. I said, or we can just chill out here, but get up at like 3 a.m. and red eye it up there. And we both were in agreement. It's like, let's get the drive over with.
Yeah, dude. Actually, the ride was not bad at all. I mean, when you have two podcasters, going on a road trip, the time flies by, folks. Trust me. We get in all kinds of conversations.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, man. And I will say, some of the winding roads up here coming in and out of the mountains, make you grab that oh snap handle, where you're like, oh snap, But you did a good job, man. It was a lot of fun. Appreciate everything you've done for me here, and taking care of me. Awesome hospitality. So it was a good time, man.
Yeah, I even caught myself at one point because, for those that know, I got a 600 horsepower Challenger, and we're cutting through these mountain roads and stuff. And then, I mean, I wasn't even thinking. I just look over at him at one point, and I'm like, "Oh, dude, I'm sorry. Do you get car sick?"
Right,
He's
dude.
like, "No, I'm good."
No, it was cool. We got there around 12:30 at night, 1 o'clock.
At 1 o'clock in the morning.
Got to crash in a pretty cool hotel, little circuit of hotels that are over there. Since there is the conference, or convention center there, of course, there's a bunch of hotels close by, but everyone was real nice. They took care of us. Got to put our head on a pillow that night, and woke up fresh. Put in a nice 12-hour day, pretty much at the day one of the convention. And dude, the tornado that came by, huh, in the beginning of the convention, like, or by what I mean by tornado is just it was just
Oh, the
swarms
people.
of people.
Yeah.
And it was a good turnout.
Are you a hunter or hiker or prepper, or just someone that enjoys the great outdoors? Whichever case that may be, Squatch Survival Gear has you covered. Not only is this a veteran-owned company, all of the products are 100% made in America, baby. All the way down to the fabric and every stitch. So whether it's a day hike, a weekend getaway, or the ultimate bug out bag, head on over to squatchsurvivalgear.com and use the code PLP10 for 10% off store-wide. Yeah, 100%. We got there and got there early in the morning because honestly, this conference was one of a kind. It was almost literally sun up to sundown. They opened the doors at like 8 o'clock for vendors and stuff, but 9 to the public, and they went all the way till like 10 o'clock at night both days. We got there and got set up early, and like you said, it was just that first Friday was wild, and all of us were thinking, "Oh, Friday's not going to be that bad." Because most people are working, they want to finish their work day and then travel. So Saturday is going to be the busy day, but no, it was Friday. Friday was the busy day, and
Mhm.
I had actually forgotten, but a lot of John Pounders and Now You See TV, they're I don't know what title you'd put to it. So I don't know if it's Torah observant or like Seventh Day Adventist, but either way, a majority of his audience celebrate the Sabbath on Saturday. So a lot of them didn't show up for the second day.
Yeah, it was cool too, just to see all the guys in our circle. There was Travis Carpenter, right, the son of Scott Carpenter, was there. He actually was next to me with my table. There was Zach Lewis, Lionel Tavares, Sabbath at Midnight. I think that's his last name, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, Sabbath at Midnight, and you, Prometheus Lens, a few other people. Who else was there? It was the evangelists.
Yeah, the last evangelist. Heck on it. We were just talking about it. What's
I
his
know.
name?
Oh, going mind blank. Yeah,
Brain
but
fart.
then there was visual disturbance, Brian,
Mhm.
right? And then who's the wrestler guy that put you in a headlock? That
No, Dan Badondi.
yeah,
Yeah, Drew's radio show.
yeah. But it was a good time, man. And I
And
had
Aaron Judkins.
Aaron Judkins. Yep, I actually got a couple of his books coming in the mail, so hopefully when I get home, they'll be there. Amazon does a pretty good job with all that. And we talked a little bit. I've never had him on the show like you have, but that's one of the coolest things about these events is there's other content creators and authors and researchers at these events that us podcasters, we love to host these kinds of individuals. So when we get to meet them for the first time, it's like that that first impression connection is already made. The groundwork is pretty much laid out, and then you end up switching each other's phone numbers or whatever emails, and so you can get in contact with them to be able to get them on your show and host them on yours.
Mm. Yeah, man. And honestly, uh, of course, I was excited to see, everybody and hang out with them in person because a lot of these guys that I've worked with over the years and done interviews with and been on their shows, they've been on mine. But I was really excited when I found out that Dr. Aaron Judkins was going because I've worked with him since probably 2022, back in the dig days. So I've had him on several times on the dig. Had him on several times on my new show, The Prometheus Lens. And he actually invited me to go on Dr. Michael Heiser's show, Fringe Pop 321, and we recorded an episode together. So that was really cool to sit down with that guy. So, of course, I brought Ed the Head, and I added some signatures to Ed the Head. And I told him, I said, man, I said, you definitely have to sign Ed because, you know, Ed's a replica of one of the Paraka skulls, but Aaron actually held that skull and studied it and drew the measurements and diagrams of it and done DNA samples. And him and Joe Taylor did a casting of that skull. So I was like, you definitely have to sign it. So I added his, and I added John Pounders to it. Then I had David Carrico sign it. So I added 3 new signatures to Ed the Head.
That's awesome. I mean, by the time, you know, hopefully a year or 2 or 3 or 4 or whatever, how long it takes, you know, that there won't be much space left on that thing.
Yes.
You know, that's funny. It'll actually look like Taylor, you know. Taylor, by the way, folks, is one of my co-hosts on the show. If you look at our emblem or our logo, you could actually see it in the banner of our YouTube channel. He's the guy holding up 2 pistols, you know, kind of like an X in front of him, resembling the Hitmen character from the video game series. He's got the red tie and stuff, but he has tattoos on his face. Mm-hmm. that's why that joke is hilarious. But yeah, that's so funny. You know, it was cool too, man. We got the opportunity to speak to, you know, potential listeners or just people who have, you know, were attending the conference, and each of us brought something different to the table, and so everyone got a good taste of all the different flavors. Mm-hmm. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, honestly, and what was cool was you know, you got invited to be on a vendor's table, and then me and you was talking to John, and then John's like, "Hey, man, would you care to speak? I had somebody cancel, and I got a slot to fill. Would you like to speak?" And he's like, "Yeah, man, sub me in, coach. I'm ready."
Yeah, I was like, "I want the ball, coach." Hey, shout out to John Pounders. I appreciate you, man. That's such a humbling moment just to be offered that kind of opportunity. So thank you very much, man. And it was cool. I hope I did really good or as much as I could with it. And you know, I got to engage with the people that were there. So it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and that was your first time, right? First speaking engagement.
First time. Yeah, first time.
And I was there for it.
You were there, man. You were there. You're my biggest supporter, man. So
of course. And where they didn't have you like on the schedule, you know, you're like just a fill in. I just didn't think, you know, a lot of people knew. And you're like, yeah, I'm about to go on. And I did. I ran outside and gathered everybody. I went and got Travis and Lionel and Riley. I was like, come on, let's go. Our boys speaking, let's go.
Oh yeah. And then on top of it all too, like there was musicians there as well. You know, there was a lot of music being played, worship, things like that. Music is always something that impresses me. It don't matter who it is, really. If you're able to kind of make some sort of sound, right, with your hands, I mean, it blows me away. Plus too, there was, you know, there was singers there and stuff. So all that stuff is incredibly, you know, talented, in my opinion. It's awesome stuff.
Yeah. And I mean, you did good too. I remember even like when you first started off, you was kind of like, you know, just a little shaky. It wasn't bad. But then once you started going, and especially was Bill Messer.
Right.
He started engaging with you, you know, and asking questions. And then next thing you know, it's like, okay, this is like a podcast. I'm just talking, having dialogue here, man. And then you took off running, man. You did good.
Yeah. Appreciate that, man. Sometimes you know, it's like that cruise control, like on a vehicle. Sometimes it takes a little bit to get to that speed. And then once you get to that speed, lock it in and it's just natural from there. So it was cool.
And I actually had some difficulties. I tell people all the time, a lot of my friends call me Murphy. I'm like, yeah, because I'm Murphy's Law. If something's going to go wrong, man, it's going to go wrong with me. And I made these slideshows for my talk, and I made it on the computer. And I was like, okay, it's an Apple computer. I'll make it on Keynote. And I have an Apple laptop, so it's an Apple product. It has to have Keynote. And, of course, it didn't. So I made all that stuff and got up there, had my laptop out, and then I was like, oh, no, where's Keynote? And there was no internet. I couldn't download the app up there. And Dr. Aaron Judkins pulled me out of the fire. He had the table next to me. I seen him on his computer, and I was like, "Hey, is that an Apple computer?" He's like looking at me like, "Yeah," and I was like, "What time are you speaking?" He's like, "Oh, I ain't speaking till 6." It was like 1:00, and I was going on at 1:30. I was like, "Man, could I pretty please use your laptop for my presentation?" Without hesitation. "Yeah, sure, go ahead." So I got pulled out of the fire from that. And the second day, I got all my stuff lined up. But then that little dongle, and I bought it brand new to hook up to my laptop and have an HDMI go into it. And the freaking thing wouldn't work. So I had to do the second show but with no slideshow presentation. But I just laughed it off. I should be like a stand up guy's stall person. As they were sitting there trying to work on it, I was like, "Well, hey guys, how's it going? Is everybody having a good time this weekend?"
Yeah. Yeah.
You got to improvise, man.
Oh, yeah.
All right, wanderers, here's one for you. Bigfoot's been spotted again. And this time, he's rocking a hat from the Soul Squatch. These folks aren't cranking out novelty shop swag. They're making gear that's Squatch approved. Thoughtful design, good materials, and built for the real deal outdoor use. But yeah, it still carries the myth. Whether you're out running trail cams or just catching your breath by the fire after a long hike, this gear holds up. Check them out at thesoulsquatch.com. And if you believe, you are already one of us.
What got me too is I didn't realize how tiring these events can kind of be. We're constantly engaging with people that are coming across to the table. These people walk by and they window shop pretty much, and you want them to really kind of get more familiar with your brand a little bit, so you engage with them. But then some of these individuals, will carry on a 10-minute conversation with you, and it was like we were, podcasting all day, which is cool, right? I mean, that's like what we're built for. And it was cool to get some other individual, different perspectives from these individuals, to where they knew some things that I didn't know. So it was just more books for my bookshelf, vice versa, and they were just so happy to really see creators in person. I think it's a big kind of it's a fun moment for them. I don't think we're anyone, or at least I talk about myself, but I'm not really in like this famous space, but they definitely give you like this gleam a little bit, which is cool, right? So
Yeah.
it's always fun.
Yeah, it makes you feel good because you think you're just talking into a camera, not really affecting anybody or, having an influence on anybody or even being heard sometimes. So, yeah, these conferences are definitely fuel for the fire. For one, you get with like-minded people. And so in this space, the things we talk about, it can be isolating, uh, we are the minority,
Right.
in that kind of sense. So when you get to these conferences and you find like-minded people, you're like, I'm not the only crazy heretic. I'm amongst my people.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah. There's more people in the sandbox.
yeah. And then at the same time, when you have those doubts about, the content creation, you go to these conferences and then you get those people that come up and be like, man, I love your show. I'm a long-time listener. I love what you do. Thank you, man. Okay, sweet. Fuel for the fire. I'm least positively influencing someone. It's worth it.
Yeah, yeah. Like one guy came by, he's like, "Hey, I've heard of your show. I came across it from Cult of Conspiracy with Jacob and Jonathan, right? And those guys put out a tremendous amount of content. Shout out to those guys. And I had the opportunity to get on their show with Jesse, and we had a nice 3.5 hour talk. I mean, those guys can really stretch the innings there, but it was a cool moment because he said that, hey, I came across your show, and it's funny I run into you here. And I mean, the next few sentences that came out of his mouth, he's like, I like Prometheus Lens too, and Doc Brown. And I was like, dude, he's here. And he said, are you serious? And I was like, yeah, go around the corner there, hang a left, and he's right down there. And go meet him in person. So it was cool. Got to shake their hand and send them off to other content creators that they didn't even know that they were there. But when you see the kind of happiness and the thrill that they're experiencing, where, oh, what, they're here, meet and greet in a way. So it goes a long way.
Oh yeah, 100%. And I got to meet several people that were listeners of the show, but then at the same time, got to meet some people that I've had interactions with online for years and never put a face to them. And so they actually came up and got to meet them. It's just really, really cool, man. And shout out to Riley, from Midwest Mythos. He come up with us and he met us there. He come all the way from Indiana, and he met us there that morning and kind of helped us set up and hang out with us and watch tables and stuff. And that was a huge blessing, man. I'm used to doing these things solo, and you have to sit at the table the whole day. I mean, you can risk taking off, but I mean, you risk somebody, snatching your stuff
Oh
off
yeah,
the table.
there's table grabbers, man. So I'll tell you that. I came across a couple of those.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Big Fish. That's Riley. Shout out to Big Fish.
Big Fish, baby.
I love it.
And he's a salesman, bro.
He was supposed to tell me how he got that name, but we didn't get a chance to get around to it. I don't know. Do you know how he got that name?
I do not know. I think he was saying it's just at work. At work, they gave each other like nicknames and stuff, and he ended up with Big Fish, and he was like, I don't know why. Love Riley. But he watched the table for me, and so if I wanted to, go outside for a minute, get a breather, go to the bathroom, go get something to eat, or just even go mosey around, check out some of the tables and talk to the other content creators, he always held down the fort. And man, I tell you, I even told him, I said, dude, you could sell a ketchup popsicle to a woman in white gloves. And he's like, hey man, I just like to talk. Yeah, I guess I am a salesman. But he would, people walk by, like you said, some people just like to kind of inadvertently look and then keep going. He wouldn't let them get away, son. If they got near the table and got to looking, hey, how you doing today? Are you enjoying yourself? You having a good time? Well, hey, check this out.
Right. It was awesome.
And I sold out, man. Riley, man, he did a good job. I remember I showed up with like 40 books, and I sold all of them but 4. I had 4 books for the next day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, he did a heck of a job. Thanks, Riley.
Yeah, and it's funny, too. When we went after day 2, we went to breakfast at Cracker Barrel. We ended up running into all the big creators, right, that were, a part of SpiracyCon. And I saw, and it was right in around that area where all the hotels are and everything. So that's where all the guests as well, or the, the people participating at the event, they were there. And so everyone was running into each other at Cracker Barrel.
Mm-hmm.
But I saw one of the attendees, walking into Cracker Barrel with your book. And I was like, oh, snap. That's cool. And, but it was fun, man. The drive back wasn't bad. Wasn't bad at all. Again, you got 2 podcasters just hanging out for 4.5 hours, and it flew by. Got gas, maybe 1 time, which is awesome. I drive a truck that gets like 12 miles to the gallon. Yours probably gets something similar, right?
Yeah, it's probably pretty close.
Yeah.
Hemi V8.
And we get back, right? We get back to Doc's place. And first of all, Doc has like the coolest DVD collection I've ever seen in my life.
Old school, baby.
Oh, it's so old school, and I'm so upset that I don't have it. But it's everything. It's everything on like the fringe aspect of like Christian content. And so we got in. He was like, "Which one you want?" And I was like, "Dude, this is like a kid in a candy store. I don't know what I want. I like chocolate. I like sour stuff. There's just so much to choose from." And you actually brought out the Bill Cooper documentary. And this is someone that obviously...
The Hour of Our Time.
The Hour of Our Time. Like, everyone knows Bill Cooper. I know about Bill Cooper, but I've never dug deep into his story or what he really covered. But getting into it, before I get into that, but, I've always kind of seen short clips of Bill Cooper's talking about something for maybe 15, 30 seconds long. You guys know how social media is today. Everything's kind of really shortened down for attention spans. But I was like, you know what, something was calling me to watch that, right? So it has all this interesting illustration on the front cover, and it intrigued me. So first of all, Doc's got a DVD player, which is super nostalgic for me to see, and it was awesome. It made me think of like the old days when I used to put DVDs in my old PlayStation 2, but we popped it in, dude, and we were like narrating while we were talking. We were pausing.
Oh yeah, we get 3 to 5 minutes in, we had to pause and theorize and philosophize, and
it was awesome, man. And So I mean, that story of Bill Cooper, I did not know what happened to him. I
Mm.
thought he just died of natural causes, but that really isn't the case. You know?
No, they straight up murdered him on his front door.
Yeah, I mean, he was, what would you say he was, like the godfather of
Oh,
all this
yeah.
kind of stuff that we dive into?
Yeah, he was talking about this stuff in the early and mid 90s, you know,
Right.
before the days of uh, YouTube and all that stuff. He was doing shortwave radio programs talking about the powers that be, the hidden hands that rule the world, and the Freemasons and all the occult symbolism and all that stuff. Man, he was the grandfather of fringe, if you want to call him that.
Yeah, he had his own radio show too, I believe,
Mhm.
which I think it aired for what, 400 and something hours or something like that. I can't
Can't
remember
remember.
what it
It
said.
was crazy. Yeah,
Yeah, and so yeah, that whole story about how he was, allegedly this Second Amendment guy and this conspiracy theorist, and
he was part of a terrorist organization, a terrorist militia.
yeah, yeah. There's always this narrative wrapped around people that are researchers and revealing certain things to the public that these puppeteers don't want to be exposed right to these public minds, because everything today seems to be like it's wrapped deeply knitted into propaganda. Propaganda is, the government, these organizations, the mystery schools, these secret societies coloring in certain areas of your thoughts. And so his main message was like really trying to wake people up.
Yeah, wake the sheeple. That's what he kept saying. It's
Wake,
my job to wake the sheeple.
yeah, yeah. And then, but he was naming. He talked about in the beginning of the documentary he got into his UFO experience.
Mm.
I don't remember exactly how it went, but
Yeah, man, that was wild because they lightly touched on it on the film, but he went into it in depth on his book, Behold a Pale Horse. And so he kind of lightly talked about it on the documentary, and that was one of our pause moments. And he's like, "What? I need more context on that one." And I was like, "Well, I'll tell you." But yeah, he was working on a submarine out in the Pacific between California and Hawaii, and that's right there where that USS Nimitz is, and all that tic tac and all that UFO stuff. And uh, he was out on deck and seen a UFO, a huge flying saucer. And I can't remember the size, but it was ridiculous big. I think he said it was the size of like those ships that the planes land on out there in the ocean.
yeah, the aircraft carrier.
Yeah. And he said that it just come right out of the water. He said, and it's like there was a force field around it that pushed the water away, like it never even touched the thing. And it stood there and floated, and then it just shot off. And then he went and got his captain and started telling all kinds of people. They started looking on radar. They couldn't see it anymore, but they picked it up on radar. Then the whole crew went out there and was looking at the sky. Then it comes back, and he says, 200 mile an hour more is ridiculous speed. He said, never slowed down. He said, hit the water. And again, the water just pushed away and wrapped around it like a bubble, like an invisible bubble was around it.
Wow.
And he said, I've worked in the Navy and Army my whole life. He said, a speed like that and the impact on the water, he said it should have tore it to shreds. And he said, we all gave our statements and they took us back to Hawaii to the mainland. He said, and normally they'd let us off. He said, they wouldn't even let us off the boat. He said, and the commanding officer of the whole thing met with them one on one and interviewed them all. And that he asked Bill, he said, well, Bill, what'd you see out there? He's like, sir, I think it was a UFO. He said that he just went irate, cussed him like a dog, was slinging stuff off his desk, breaking lamps off the wall, just going crazy. And he said, then he sits back down, takes a deep breath, and says, I'm going to ask you, Bill, again. I'm going to ask you again, Bill. He said, in the future, your future rides on your answer. He said, what did you see out there? He said, nothing, sir. He said, you're going to go far. Now get out of my office.
Yeah, that's how it works, man. I mean, this makes me, obviously, we paused at this moment. We had some dialogue about it, but it makes me think of a few things. We had Tucker Carlson go on to Joe Rogan's show, and within the first 10, 15 minutes of the show, they talked about certain, I forget exactly what the operation was, but it's that they've detected these anomalies or these phenomenons or these objects, right? Because they kind of appear on radar, but they're moving at extreme speeds underwater, right? We even kind of talked a little bit about how the Bible, speaks of this subject of spirits, right? With their habitation being in the abyss or in the waters, right? So it makes me think of that a little bit, right? And what we've seen since 2017 with the David Fravor and the Tic Tac video that went viral, since the New York Times opened up this story in 2017. It seems to be that ever since that has happened, we've been kind of getting spoon fed a little at a time, where we're starting to see what's called whistleblowers coming to Congress, giving their testimonies and their ideas to what they think these things are, or what documents that they've been revealed to from working in these classified areas of government. And so uh, that again, makes me think of kind of like propaganda, because there's always this push to have the public wrap their minds around this concept, and it seems like they're coloring in these spaces of thought to where these are extraterrestrials. But I think I don't know, but did Bill have a different view of the extraterrestrial narrative?
Hey guys, it's no secret that every single day your dollar loses its value. If a man invested $1,000 in silver in the 60s, today that same $1,000 would have magically turned into almost $30,000. Silver and gold only continues to increase in value. If you have a 401k or money sitting in savings, that is just a number in a computer system that is one EMP or hack away from being deleted forever. I've recently teamed up with Cornerstone Assets and Metals and started investing in gold and silver myself. And I highly encourage the listeners, if you have money in savings just sitting there, invest it in hard, tangible assets. The same thing with your 401ks. Take a 20 to 30% cut of that 401k, that number in a computer system, and invest into hard, tangible assets that is proven to only increase in value. Be sure to check out the link in the description or the number on the screen, and be sure to tell them that Doc Brown from Prometheus Lens sent you. Torches high, guys. Yeah, well, at first, he thought that they were extraterrestrial, that they were aliens. And then once he got out of the service, he started deep diving and studying this stuff, and he was a military intelligence officer. So he's seen reports and things talking about these craft, and he ended up joining MUFON. I can't remember what that acronym means, but it's the people that study aliens and stuff and UFOs. And he spent many years in there working with people, sharing research, and he said that he got, long story short, he just found out that most of the people, he said in his opinion that a lot of the people there were CIA and FBI implants. Whoa, 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 whoa. You know what I pulled you over for? License, registration, and proof of all access pass before proceeding. Hey guys, if you enjoyed that episode, this is an all access pass episode exclusive. But hey, if you'd like to get access to this episode and an entire library of members-only exclusive content, 48-hour early access to all future episodes, and an ad-free listening experience on Apple and Spotify, head on over to PrometheusLensPodcast.com and sign up for the All Access Pass and join us on the hero's journey.